Mistakes I made at work. 25 influential women reflect on what they got out of getting it wrong. Edited, put together, by Jessica Bacal. Part 1. Learning to take charge of your own narrative. After teaching elementary school and then freelancing to make money, I honestly couldn't believe my luck when I got a 3-day-a-week job at Smith College on the Women's Narrative Project, WNP. And I was even more excited when I realized that it meant I sometimes got to sit around the table and talk with amazing women. WNP was the visionary brainchild of two deans, Maureen A. Mahoney and Jennifer L. Walters, who wanted students to reflect on and clarify their values and goals. In order to do this, they posed some seemingly illicit questions. Illicit, anyway, in an environment of high achievers. What's the difference between what your family wants for you and what you want for yourself? What does success really mean to you? What would it be like to fail? Mahoney and Walters uses the term narratives because it implies that the ways in which we understand and talk about ourselves, page turn, are always evolving. It is likely to be indifferent in 5 or 10 years than it is today. In addition, the word narratives alludes to multiplicity. Each of us can tell several different stories about who we are right now, they reminded students. I soon found that my own story was changing. This part-time day job, one I had initially accepted because I was a writer with a young child, was becoming something I cared about. It's once thought that my career would feel gratifying only if I was publishing fiction, but I began to see that this was not true because I loved talking to and working with college students. I'd once imagined that to be a good mother, I'd need to work a reduced schedule so that my son wouldn't have to be in too much childcare. Now I was soaking up new research on women, work, and life, including a groundbreaking study that tracked 1,000 infants over 20 years and showed that 40 hours a week of quality childcare doesn't interfere with development. One of its principal investigators, Kathleen McCartney, later became Smith's president. My son, I realized, was thriving at his loving preschool. Even if I worked full-time, he'd be just fine. A new narrative was forming. The ability to reflect on our own narratives is important for several reasons. It can help us to find a next step. In this section, Lani Guarnier discusses coming to see that climbing the ladder from law clerk to lawyer to judge just wasn't for her and that she was happy to leave a prestigious job as a referee to work at the less prestigious but more rewarding NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund. Reflecting on our own narratives can also help us to advocate for ourselves in difficult situations. Reshma Sajani talks about the importance of becoming comfortable with sharing the fact that she'd taken out heavy loans for graduate school. This comfort allowed her to frame and share the story of her career leading up to a run for political office. Finally, understanding our own narratives can help us make choices every day. Cheryl Stray talks about the paralyzing nature of a writing test that just felt wrong and the realization that she would need to be engaged in an authentic way with any assignment. Even if we never put pen to paper or fingers to keyboard, we are continuously writing and rewriting our own life narratives. They help us to understand who we are now and where we are going, and they are always evolving.